Hello, my movie peeps. Thank you so much for clicking on an episode of Side Flick. My name is Chris. I did it, y'all. We hit 500K here on the channel. Now, before you start throwing your congratulation emojis or photos of your uncle in a sombrero, I am planning to release a sort of 500K celebration video today. It's going to be different and out of the ordinary, but I'm really excited to show you guys, and I think you're going to have a lot of fun with the video. Just to give you an idea of what it'll be about, so hopefully you want to support the video and watch it. With me hitting 500K right around the time Michael Myers is about to have a brand new movie, Halloween Ends, I thought it'd be really funny if I take the origin of the Michael Myers mask that was created from a William Shatner face and took that premise and rolled with it today. What if a famous celebrity today was chosen to be the face of Michael Myers? I grabbed myself 4 different modern celebrities, some memeable, some hilarious, some I don't know why, turned them into Michael Myers masks and then just did some funny stuff with them. So hopefully you guys will tune into that video, and in this side flick, I'm gonna put on one of the masks before it becomes a Michael Myers mask, just to tease you what you can expect. Okay, but with that shameless plug out of the way, let's get into talking about some of the movies we're gonna discuss here today. Some of the stuff we're gonna be discussing here is basically continuing on the train. Did Dwayne Johnson single-handedly save the DCEU? Cause it really feels that way. We got our first details on Tom Holland's Spider-Man 4 and what we can expect to see in his upcoming movie, as well as talking about a whole bunch of Marvel movies that just got delayed. That along with so much more, so you guys know the drill. Leave me your opinions down below. Really appreciate you. Even if you don't check out the 500K celebration, it means a lot that you even support my channel in any fashion. But I really want you to watch that video, please. But without further ado, let's jump into our first story here today, and it's about some Transformers. You guys know there's been a new Transformers movie up and coming titled Transformers Rise of the Beast. It's taking inspiration from the Beast Wars animated series of the same name and is going to feature a time-traveling Optimus Prime ancestor named Optimus Primal that is an ape voiced by Ron Perlman. And now we just got the announcement of 2 other actors who are going to be voicing Transformers. One I know is going to piss off some people. We have here Deadline letting us know Transformers Rise of the Star adds Michelle Yeoh and Pete Davidson. Now Michelle Yeoh, hopefully I pronounced that right, will be voicing Air Razor, which is one of the ancestor Beast War Transformers that'll be coming into the movie. I can't wait to see what her design looks like, because just looking at this Transformer, it looks pretty badass. Now the other voice in here, Pete Davidson, will be voicing the Transformer Mirage.
So behind the scenes of Transformers 7.
Now this one's actually a pretty popular Transformer, and Pete Davidson's likability is all over the place. I'm not gonna lie, I find the man kind of funny. But don't get me wrong, I totally get why some people are over this guy, don't think he's funny, or that he's just being overused in Hollywood. It's just gonna be a voice. Throughout the series of Transformer movies, we have had some interesting voices in the past. Do I need to bring up the twin bots? I'm sure Pete Davidson will do a good enough job. He's got kind of a distinct nasally voice to him. I guess that's what they need from Mirage in this movie. What I'm just hoping for is, if Bumblebee's popping up, I'm tired of him talking through a radio or just little bits. Have him just talk, please. What do you guys think about these 2 cast members being added on for Transformers Rise of the Beast? Moving on, let's talk about Warner Brothers and the DCEU, because they continue to be on the up and down every other day. They most recently were on the down because it was let known that David Zaslav was using his big old axe to cut more departments, laying off a bunch of workers, even closing down a specific stage on the Warner Brother lot known as Stage 13 that was a workshop dedicated for underheard voices in Hollywood to get something made and put out there. This division was also used so that people can get their start in Hollywood and lead themselves to bigger projects. A couple of names right here I'm showing you on the screen that have gone on to do bigger things through this program, and this is of course rubbing people the wrong way because no one likes anybody losing their jobs in Hollywood. This is horrible. It's just the continued mess Warner Brothers is doing that every time they got a headline, it's rarely ever something good, and it just continues to upset the stockholders, upset anyone wanting to work with Warner Brothers, and I'm still curious to see if they're gonna make it out of this in a few years time and all these cuts were worth it. But on the other side of that, that's got geeks like me really hyped up and going, oh, maybe they're onto something here, is it looks like David Zaslav was not the savior of the DC universe. It was Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. It's been no secret that Dwayne Johnson has been wanting to use Superman for the longest time, either in Black Adam or for the future of the universe, and just hearing some of these interviews he's been doing, that makes it no secret whatsoever. It's basically going to happen. Listen to this.
What you saw at the end of the movie that everyone is now losing their minds over,
Yes.
that's a reflection of listening to the fans. And that's also a reflection of building to something big. The goal is we want to continue to build out the DC universe because there's so many places to go with Black Adam, with the JSA, the Justice League, new characters that are in the DC Bible that haven't been introduced yet. I loved Superman, and I still do.
You have a filmmaker's vision, though. You understand what makes good movies. Is the scene already built in your mind? Is it raining? Is it sunshine? Like, can you see it in your mind right now when you think about it?
Jake, I could see things so clearly on how that scene looks like, what that scene looks like, what the film looks like, what the next 3 films look like. Now, whether or not that comes to fruition, that always helps when you have that kind of clarity. But here's what I do know. Listening to the fans when I was wrestling always led and guided me, just like now. So for the past 10 years, as I was pushing Black Adam up this hill to get made, I was also listening to the fans at the same time. Where you have Black Adam, we will create Black Adam for him to be the most powerful and unstoppable force on this planet. The most powerful and unstoppable force in the entire universe has been on the sidelines for too long.
There were rumors a couple of weeks back when this whole Zaslav and new DCU 10-year plan was coming out that the Thanos for the DC universe, instead of it being Darkseid Steppenwolf like the Snyderverse was wanting to tease, it was going to end up being Black Adam. Black Adam would sort of be the Thanos of the DCEU. And hearing Dwayne Johnson say he clearly sees 3 movies as a vision for what will happen, one of them involving Superman and Black Adam fighting, yo, at least he brought back Henry Cavill's Superman. At least that's what we're hearing. And the fact that it's some of these scoopers saying that it was Dwayne Johnson going up to these execs, going up to Henry Cavill saying, work it out, shake hands, and let's start making some money, y'all. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, like, I have nothing against Dwayne Johnson. I think the man is a wonderful actor. I've always liked him. I enjoy some of his movies. But when he joined the DCEU and he was always talking about the hierarchy of power in the DC universe about to change, it was rubbing me the wrong way a little bit because I was like, man, this guy's ego and star power in Hollywood is going into his head. He's gonna make this all about Black Adam and it's not gonna make sense. But him saying flat out, oh, Superman's pretty strong, he's the strongest force out there, and he brought back Henry Cavill, he has a vision for what he wants to see and he just wants to please the fans. Yo, I should have never doubted Dwayne Johnson. You gotta admit, though, the director of Shazam, David F. Sandberg, is probably a sad little puppy right now, and I don't blame him. He was thinking one day he could have the character he built up, Shazam, fight Black Adam. Who knows if that's gonna happen, because Dwayne wants to go straight to Superman. I believe he even tweeted out once saying, I think it's gonna be really funny if Black Adam fights everybody except Shazam. And I'm not gonna lie, I want to see Shazam fight Black Adam kind of a little bit more than Superman. But we get what we get, and we don't throw a fit, right? So if that means Dwayne Johnson brought back Henry Cavill's Superman to not only fight Black Adam, but maybe give him another movie down the line, that's just a sacrifice we're gonna have to accept for him not fighting Shazam anymore. I could only imagine what else is coming down the pipeline and what Dwayne Johnson has in store for the fans, but hey, this looks promising to me. I can't wait to see Black Adam for all this to unfold. What do you guys think about Dwayne Johnson possibly saving the DCEU? Moving on to something that has been kind of on fire for a while, but no one is paying attention on right here, Marvel Studios. Now, obviously, I'm exaggerating a little bit here, but I think if you've really been paying attention, some things that have been happening with Kevin Feige and the MCU are kind of a little worrisome, and hopefully they are getting their things in order. Starting off with something we just heard about, that Marvel Studios has paused Blade movie amid search for new director. If you guys didn't hear, not only did the Blade movie recently lose its director, it also is going to get a whole brand new script, and this movie was about to start filming in like 2 months. So of course, to Kevin Feige and MCU standards, 2 months was not enough time to find a director, write a new script, build these sets, get locations, set everything up. It just wasn't going to happen, at least not with making a good quality movie. So it really was no surprise that Blade got put on hold and this movie would have to be delayed. But this stuff has just kind of been happening so regularly with the MCU. It was Doctor Strange the Multiverse of Madness, lost their director Scott Derrickson, got Sam Raimi. Some people thought that movie just turned out meh. Same thing happened with the Fantastic Four. They had John Watts, they lost John Watts. Then they had to bring in a new director. We'll see how that goes. Now with Blade, they lost that director and they have to go find a new one. and a writer. It's just things that wouldn't happen a lot in previous phases of the MCU, but hopefully they get it all figured out. Unfortunately, that's not where the MCU news ends, because then shortly after we heard that Blade was being paused, we got an updated schedule from Disney and Marvel about some of their upcoming movies. Starting off here, we got informed that Blade has now moved from November of 2023 all the way to September 6, 2024. And that wouldn't make sense. They need a new director, they need a new writer. This movie's not going to come out when it was scheduled to be. And then that kind of created a domino effect for a lot of other movies. So Deadpool 3, that had that September 2024 release, is now November 2024, shifting just a couple of months. Honestly, to me, that's not even a big deal or anything to worry about. I feel like Deadpool 3 is right on track. Ryan Reynolds and his team that he's bringing over from the previous two movies are hard at work on that. And with Hugh Jackman, we know this movie's going to be a banger. Hopefully. And then the Fantastic Four that had that November 2024 release date will now move to February of 2025. With them losing a director and then having Matt Shakman, the guy who did WandaVision, come in, and them still not announcing some sort of Fantastic Four cast, I'd rather them just take their time and perfect this movie, because a lot's riding on your shoulders, man. People have high expectations for the MCU Fantastic Four. Then something that I think should have not been any surprise, but still kind of hurt a lot of MCU fans when we found out. Avengers Secret Wars moved from November 2025 all the way to May 1st, 2026. We gotta remember, originally Avengers Kang Dynasty and Avengers Secret Wars were 6 months apart. There was no way they were gonna put two Avenger movies in the same year, 6 months apart. That is a huge oversaturation of the MCU. So I always knew that movie was going to get delayed. It was just a matter of when. But hearing, Avengers Secret Wars 2026, Kevin Feige, I'm not getting any younger, man. On the bright side of stuff like this, it also allows for the visual effects people to just have that extra time, because we know they have just been strained lately. So I think these delays are all for the better. It'll help these projects breathe and get done the right way. But I throw it off to you guys. You see all this stuff happening with Marvel. What do you think? And moving on here, it has been a hot dogging minute since we've talked some Spider-Man. I cannot wait for this to become Spider-Man News Central all over again. And that, of course, is us talking about Tom Holland's Spider-Man 4. An article came out just the other day from the Cosmic Circus that I'm saying is becoming an up-and-coming reliable source. Still take it with a small grain of salt, but this is more reliable than a lot of other places. And well, essentially what we have here is a roundup of news that this reporter has heard in Hollywood about what Sony and Marvel are planning to do with Spider-Man 4 and other Spider-Man related projects. One of the first things they mention is the release date for this movie, which is set to be coming out July 12, 2024. That honestly makes a lot of sense with the pattern Sony has been releasing Spider-Man movies, so that means 2023 is going to be the year of just non-stop Spider-Man news, because that's when they're filming, casting, and all that. They also mentioned this would put it in phase 5 with a 2-week window of releasing near the Thunderbolts, but with the way the MCU is changing their schedule right now, there's no way they're going to come 2 weeks apart. If anything, they'll be a month or two apart. The other thing that they mention in here is that Spider-Man 4 will be heavily focused on street-level crime. They will be putting Peter Parker into that arena and doing something that we've all been hoping for, essentially have Daredevil be the guest star in Spider-Man's movie. They even go as far as to mention that the events of Daredevil Born Again are going to tie directly into Spider-Man 4. Daredevil Born Again is, of course, that upcoming solo Daredevil series that is going to bring back Kingpin and Daredevil, and I feel like that is also really smart, because probably what that show is going to do is just set up the Kingpin to be this crime boss of New York, have that be sort of the ending of the series, and Spider-Man then kind of have to dealing with the aftermath and teaming up with Daredevil, eventually finding out, bro, you was my lawyer, a really good lawyer. So I like that idea, and it fits with what Marvel's been doing, really tying in these Disney Plus series with the movie events. Plus, can you imagine seeing Daredevil with that movie money? Now, something that might make some fans sad if these reports are true, we know by the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, they teased the symbiote is now in the MCU and would eventually latch on to Peter Parker. Well, they mention here, don't expect the symbiote or Spider-Man to be rocking that black suit in Spider-Man 4, because Marvel would rather give him that suit in an upcoming Avenger movie. They don't specify which Avenger film it'll be, whether it's Kang Dynasty or Secret Wars, but if they're trying to be comic faithful here, then it makes sense they're waiting for Secret Wars. That's when Spider-Man Spider-Man first got the black suit in the comics, in the original Secret Wars event. So that would actually be kind of awesome to see happen. But it's going to be another situation with like Scorpion or even Avengers Tower, where it's been so many years and those post-credit scenes and those details never got answered 3 movies later. Then they go on to talk about Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, something we're all wondering, when's the next time we're going to see them? And apparently Sony is like 110% on having them team up again. Now again, that might be something that upsets fans, because we've all been wanting Tobey Maguire to get his own Spider-Man 4 or Andrew Garfield to get Amazing Spider-Man 3, and it looks like it's just not going to happen that way. Sony and Marvel would rather just have them team up, have that little bro chemistry together, and then go off. That kind of bums me, because I just want them to have their solo adventures, and I don't know why Sony is just sitting on that pile of cash you would have. You know how crazy fans would go just to see a solo Tobey or solo Andrew movie? You're letting money just sit there, just saying. But they just don't have a storyline figured out about how to bring them together again, and I gotta admit, I'm puzzled, because the one thing I'm really excited about with Spider-Man 4 and Tom Holland is for him to go on his own adventure, is to start feeling more like classic Spider-Man. And to then just shoehorn in Tobey and Andrew into his solo movies over and over for that nostalgia, I think would get overplayed and I wouldn't like it. When I'm really excited to see this version of Peter Parker sort of strive and team up with Daredevil, a street level hero. So I don't know, only time will tell, but these are interesting details and I think it's an exciting time. What do you guys think about these first details involved with Spider-Man 4? But that is all movie news we currently have going on right now, guys. I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch me talk some movie news. Please stay tuned for that 500k subscribe video. I'm also on my way today to see Halloween Ends, so I'll have a review for you guys tomorrow. Really appreciate your faces. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.